Us. We call it us because all of us are part of us, meaning we're all in this together. One of the things that we did as far as we putting this little thing together was the idea that everybody's in it together, everybody's connected vibrationally and such like that. And I also wanted to do something because I've been intuitive, for about the last 30 some years, probably before that, but professionally. One of the things that used to irritate the hell out of me is somebody saying, Robert, you're a step above a human. That used to make my skin crawl. I hated it. Mm-hmm. Or you're an angel. I remember one lady told me I was an angel, and I said, no one that knows me is going to believe I was you called me an angel just now. But the thing about it is, what I learned as I started to go through this was that the intuitive ability, which is our ability to know what's going on without all the information, you get it by vibration. For example, our guest today, I had a vibe that it wasn't going to come through, that the call wasn't going to happen, and bigger than hell, that's what happened. But anyway, here we are. One of the things I knew is back in the day when I first started getting involved, was as I would let go of anger, I would let go of misconceptions, prejudices, stuff like that. The intuition got stronger and stronger and stronger. So I liken it to like a lamp, like one of those halogen lamps. I might have talked about it before, but where everything that's ever happened to you is like a veil over that lamp until until the light doesn't shine through anymore. And that would be your intuition being covered. Now, you could be a totally upstanding person, still got a shitload of that stuff going on you. For example, the fear of you're not being able to do something that you could probably do with ease. Or maybe a prejudice you didn't even know you had. Maybe a fear that you can't explain. The idea is to take those things off, get them off of you. I was going to talk about that to our guest because hypnosis is one of those things that people use. That, sound healing, Reiki, regressions, past life and current life, the ability to connect with somebody so completely that you can feel them beyond their behavior. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. As things are a little crazy in the world right now, connecting with your intuition is kind of where it's at. If you did that, you ain't going to be afraid of these Antifa clowns or, Trump, if you got an issue there, or Biden, or whoever hell. It won't knock you off your pins. It'll allow you to take a second, connect, and kind of know where you stand. Right now, just from a mental point of view, to look at the world now, you see nothing but chaos. Maybe you see nothing but destruction and no way out. Conspiracy theories are being conjured up like it's impossible to talk about all of them in the time we have. Some of them are completely crazy ass absurd, and some make a hell of a lot of sense. But which is which? If your intuition is intact, best you can be, you're always kind of developing. And when I say developing intuition, I don't mean learning to do it. I talk about learning to access it by letting go of the programming. Everybody's got the ability. I could teach somebody to do this in probably 30 minutes, but they'd have to practice. It'll take a while to really get proficient. But anyway, so we'll talk about some of that right now. And you want to start with something? You got something on your mind?
I just want to know, how did you really get started in this? Did you see things or hear things, or like when you were a child, or did it really just come to you when you were an adult? When you have a client, what are you seeing something in your head? Are you hearing something? You know, how do you know these things about them and to help
Right.
them?
Well, first place, as you know, I didn't want to do this. I didn't give a damn about it. I thought it was stupid. And I enjoyed drugs. And I enjoyed fighting. I just enjoyed all that craziness, right? And one day I had a regression, and I found the essence of my problem, and I went from there.
What do you mean by you had a regression one day?
Like a past life regression. I was in Hollywood, and I just got off of they used to use crank back then. It's meth now. I had one of those parties, and the next day I couldn't sleep, but I couldn't stay awake either. I was just a mess. And I had these two boys, and I needed to figure things out, and I kept sliding back. And something was said on this talk show, and I went to the Bodhi Tree, which is a bookstore on Melrose Avenue in Hollywood. It was mentioned on the TV. Otherwise, I wouldn't have went, right? So I go there, and I went there, and I was like, this is stupid. What the hell am I doing here? And this guy comes up in a robe and sandals and stuff, and he wanted me to join his cult, and I told him to get the hell away from me because he felt like he was blowing smoke. But anyway, then I got a trade paper, and one side was this guy that did past life regressions. Well, one side was a woman that done channeling. Now, I figured she could blow smoke up my ass, and I wouldn't know necessarily. So I was pretty cynical back then, like now. Anyway, then then I looked at it and said, I'm not going to do that, I was going to kill $100 one way or another. Then this guy's name was Michael Green from South Africa. He did regressions. And I thought, well, damn. I used to pay $5 a hit to do LSD so I could see shit. He was going to make me shit without it, right? So I went to him and I had a regression. And
does that mean like you're seeing things from a past life?
Yeah,
or he's telling you about it?
No, he ain't telling me anything.
He kind of you saw it.
It was the coolest thing.
Okay.
It was like he says, okay, he's gonna run these energy. When he did, I literally started seeing colors, kind of going in front of my face, and my eyes were closed. Okay, and then I saw this picture, bam, just shock, quick, real picture of a guy yelling at me, and then he goes, well, do you see anything? I said, oh, no, not really. I just saw a picture, but it's gone. Well, he puts this crystal, because crystals, even we're using radios to enhance vibration.
Okay.
So he put it on the third eye, between the eyebrows. And then he says, he did a couple things energetically. And next thing you know, I saw that same picture. But then, I don't know if you remember what 8mm films were like. They go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but no tech. Anyway, it just started going faster. Pretty soon, it was in almost normal time. And this guy was yelling at me, pointing where I needed to be walked and where I needed to go. And I couldn't see the ground. It was all white. And turned out it was a German dude. And so I apparently walked like I was supposed to. Next thing I know, these guards grabbed my arms. And the arms that I had in this life were twitching because of it. Do you see?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
And then as I was being walked, I could feel my feet slip, even though I was laying down. It was vivid, really vivid.
Wow.
And then I was put in this room, and I know there was a decision being made. And I couldn't see out the windows. Then I realized why everything was white, why I couldn't see out the windows, because it was snow. And it was cold, and the mist, it fogged it up. And so I kind of knew what was happening. Anyway, they directed me to go into this building, and I did the gas chamber thing. Do you see?
Wow.
And I was able to experience the death and all that stuff. And there's a point where they say, what does your higher power have to say? And I go, and I'm listening, and the thing says, it says, relax. And I was disappointed. I was like, God damn, relax. That ain't enough, right?
I'm supposed to get this huge message right now.
Right, I was expecting
You're
all
just
kinds
telling me to relax.
Yeah. And anyway, next time I'm driving home, and the message kind of finished. It said, what people think don't matter. And I thought, that's a pretty elementary thing to say to me. But then I looked at my life, and it's exactly what the issue was. I was mean and ornery and drugs and all that stuff because I believed other people would see me as no good, because that's the way my parents raised me. You see. Anyway, I figured out as I would get rid of these blocks, I call them anger blocks. Every time I'd start to feel angry, I'd analyze everything that's going on, because I realized sometimes you're not angry at the whole scene. You might be angry at a word or a smell, or you may have the proximity of somebody talking to you might do it. Do you see? That's how a lot of you see those guys that come out of war, just certain words will touch them out. It's kind of like that. Anyway, as I would break these blocks, the intuition got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
Wow.
Pretty soon I couldn't stop. And people were coming to me, and it never occurred to me to do a business with it. It never occurred to me to do it for a living. I was even wondering why I wanted to do it in the first place, but it just seemed to help the folks, and I was helping them out, whatever. And my niece one time, she comes in, and she's telling me about this wreck. And before she got about 4 words, I described the wreck to her. And she goes, "Damn, how'd you do that?" I'm like, "Oh, no, but it's how it's working now."
Yeah.
Well, one thing led to another, here I am. But I realized even now, there'll be times that I might be doing a reading, and I'll run into a thing that's like, okay, that doesn't feel right. What I just said doesn't feel right. So if I do that, then I have to figure out, okay, if it doesn't feel right, is it because I have a block or I have a prejudice of some sort? When I do that, though, I describe the scene to the person, and he gets it past it.
Okay.
But either way, that's the thing. And I've realized that that's really a lot of what's going on. These people are going nuts in our society right now. That's out of fear.
Yeah.
That's out of lack of communication. That's out of lack of feeling like they got control over anything. So what is the answer? In every animal, even the little kids, everything, they always go to anger, always go to ranting and freaking and, hysteria. It's because when you lose your bearings, that's where you're naturally going to go, because it's defense. You see that? And then I realized if you honed your intuition, everybody has it. There's nobody, that whole gifted thing, that shit has to be thrown away. Unless the gift is how easy it is for you to develop. But anyway, that needs to go away, because it's so simple. It is such a simple thing. And then you were asking, how does it, do I see shit and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, when I first started, stuff would come randomly. And so I picked up a deck of cards, tarot cards, and I started using them. Next thing you do, I was using them, and pretty soon the damn things were too slow. I couldn't put them down fast enough. Because by the time I put them down, I already told them what I needed to tell them, right? And so next thing I know, I'm seeing stuff. Then I'm hearing stuff. Then one day I'm reading this guy, and I'm talking about his brother, and all of a sudden I start to choke. Turns out his brother was decapitated by God damn it, the hood of a car.
Oh.
And I started choking because I connected.
Yeah.
You see? And then I realized I could literally read with my whole body. Wow. Like, I might see a picture. Then if I pay attention to that picture, the answer is, your husband is upset because he thinks you don't love him. Then I might get a pain here. And that'll confirm it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or I might all of a sudden see this picture, I'll say something, this picture will start. Do you see?
Yeah.
Or I'll see it, all of a sudden I remember a song that I heard when I was 12. Or a picture I saw in a magazine, 10 years earlier. All that stuff is part of it. And it's just a part of putting it all together. But the interesting thing about it is you see more when you allow yourself to see more. When you're paying attention, because it's all around you. It's already there. It's all vibrational signatures. Do you see? So you connect, constantly connecting. And that's how it works. It's pretty simple. It sounds complicated as shit, but it's not. It's pretty simple because it all comes down to, okay, you start one place. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to read. Then you pay attention. Okay, you know what? I just felt this. So maybe I got to pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. You know what? I just saw something now. Damn, I remember this thing I saw in the alphabet soup. Shit, that might be it. You know, and you start going through it. And what it does is, as you do it, you're all the windows start to open, right? Mm-hmm. Cards are one thing. Cards, to me, they're all right, but they're kind of elementary. It's kind of almost like a Ouija board. It's got a certain amount of juice to it, but all it is really is to stimulate or help you access the intuition.
Okay.
Like I knew a guy in Vegas that used to throw spaghetti. Somebody would ask him a question. He'd throw spaghetti against this cardboard and then read it, how it lays. Another guy used to take cards, literally just throw them on the floor and read them that way. Then there's people who do sand. There's people who do coffee. People who do tea. You know, I tell people that I can teach them how to read a pile of dog crap. You know, it's just a matter of understanding how to do it.
Yeah. Like
one of the things I used to do in my classes, I'd put like 3 bottles of the blue glass, you know, real dark. So they couldn't see in. But I would put so much water in one, none in another, and I'd fill the other one up. And I'd say, okay, now imagine you're about 2 inches tall. Now imagine you're walking up, and I always use imagine because people that try to do this, they say, well, I can't be my imagination. Well, that's bullshit. What's your imagination? It's your mind's ability to see images. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean you're making the shit up, but what it is if you imagine something, you imagine a scenario. If you do that, you're just setting the vibration. Now, if you say, okay, I imagine that I'm going to go through this thing and there's going to be this much water, then your imagination's getting in the way. You see my point?
Yeah.
So I would say to them, okay, you imagine you're 2 inches tall. Now imagine you're walking up to the bottle, you're putting your hand on the glass. Feel the coolness. You feel the coolness of the glass. Feel the smoothness. Now imagine that you pushed your hand through the glass. You literally feel your hand going through, and you feel the glass around your arm as you push through. Then you push your shoulder through. And I usually go at that point, do you feel that? They go, yeah. Okay, now push the rest of you. Now you take the rest of your body. Now you're completely in the bottle. Okay? Then I go, okay, now take your hands and put it on the walls. So now they're so involved in the scene that they let go of the bullshit. They let go of the baggage. Do you see?
Yeah.
Because I kept pointing out scenes and things for them to think of or pay attention to.
Okay.
Then I say, okay, now you're in the bottle. You can feel the walls. It's smooth and cool and stuff like this. Okay, now move your feet. They move their feet. Okay, do you feel anything? And generally, well, I do. I feel like there's something around my ankles. And I'll go, is it just your ankles? Well, no, it's just below my knee. That'd be where the water is. Do you see? That'd be the water line. Uh-huh. And I put it through the other bottle, and I don't feel no water, nothing. You know, the other one I'm drowning. I was kidding there, not drowning, but it's like I feel under. I feel like I'm below the water line.
Yeah. So,
and then they get all excited because they did it. It ain't that goddamn hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The hardest part of this is accepting that you can do it. And there's this one lady comes to me, and the poor lady was crying, man. I've known her for years, and she'd go to all these classes after class, you know. She says, Robert, you know, I go to these classes, and these people are seeing aliens and Indians and all kinds of crap, and I can't see nothing. I said, well, probably some of them ain't seeing it either. So, but let go what they're doing. I say, now I'm going to give you something to do, and I just want you to trust me. She said, okay. I show her a picture of my dog. My dog is Leo. He's a boxer. Okay. Imagine you're standing next to him, just like the bottle. See, now what you have to do is get out of that baggage. I had to make her forget that she was thinking she couldn't do it. And so I said, okay, now you want to feel this fire? Can you feel this fire? Yeah, okay. Do you feel his muscle? How about his body heat? You feel his body heat? Yeah, yeah. Okay, now push your hand through. And you want to feel that you're shoulder to shoulder with him now. Can you do that? Yeah. Now you take that hand, the right hand, and put it down into his right paw. In order to do that, you have to slip your rest of your body into him. You put your left hand down his left paw. Can you do that? Yes, she said. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay, now that you're all the way in him, imagine he's sitting down. Now I want you to imagine what it'd feel like feeling the ground under his feet or the ground under his ass because he's sitting down. Okay, they got that. Okay, I got it. Okay, can you look out of his eyes? Yeah. Want to see the end of his nose? Yeah. All right, now imagine you're just moving around inside there and tell me if you feel anything. And she did it. She picked up that he had gotten hurt in his hip. And she started crying. She was all freaking, she was just really happy. But it was so simple. All I had to do was to get her programming out of the way. And that's really how it works. That's why it's so simple. You see, that's why when people were saying all that stuff about angel and all that, it just seems so absurd to me. If I bought into it, I felt like a liar. So I couldn't go there, you know? Yeah. That's how it went. And this is why we're here, man.
Yeah. What about, I know I think I saw on your website, you don't channel people that much, but maybe if someone's really having a hard time getting over a loved one that has passed on. Yeah. What is that like? Do you hear them talking? Do you see them? Like, how do you
It comes in a lot of different ways. Sometimes I'll just hear it. Sometimes I'll see them talk. Sometimes I'll see them showing me something, like like something in their hand or whatever. Yeah. Or maybe they'll do something like this, shake their nah. Maybe they're saying, okay, well, I think that my grandmother did this and this. And then the grandmother might go, no. You see, that's how it's done. I don't advertise that I do it because I only want to do it with grief issues. Yeah. I don't like these. This sounds like I'm being a hard ass, but it's like I had these women that come to me, God, about 10 years ago, and they wanted to talk to their mother, and I said, well, sure, okay. Is there an issue you want to look into? You want to go look at certain things? No, we just think it's fun, because we used to get together, make cookies, and I gave him somebody else's number because I don't, to me, that kind of connection, it's not something to play with. Right. Not that it's dangerous.
Yeah. But don't you have to kind of be a little careful about letting in like negative energy or?
No, I don't do negative. Okay. You can choose that. Okay. You can choose that. Like a lot of people are afraid of that. They're afraid that, okay, if I'm able to touch spirit, then the demons will get me. No. If you're an asshole, that might happen. If you're going at it because you're being a shithead, it might happen. Right. Because if you think of vibrational frequencies, you think about, levels of connection, spiritual connections, whatever. A demon, I don't know if you call it that, a demon would be something of very low vibration. Yeah. And if you're coming at something at a high vibration, you won't even touch it. You see that? And they can't touch you. For example, I've done 170 ghost investigations. I've never been hit, never been touched or anything, but I've seen somebody get a scratch go up their arm without even nobody touching them. Girlfriend I had got choked out, not out, but choked.
I definitely have had a ghost experience too.
Yeah. If it was a negative one, you were probably in a bad mood, or you were feeling sad about something, or maybe afraid.
Yeah, it wasn't positive. It really scared me. I was younger. It was it was kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that's why people say pray when that happens. What you're doing is raising your vibration outside that field. Okay. Do you see that? Yeah. It's very simple. I had a girlfriend who spirits used to jack her up, man. But she was a manipulative little thing, and she tended to look for reasons to put someone down and that sort of thing.
Her vibration was low. Exactly. She was allowing that to come in.
Exactly.
Kind of. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. There are people that used to, like I'd be teaching them, they go, well, I'm worried about getting that happening. I said, well, your natural vibration won't let it happen because you can't connect. Do you see? Yeah. But if they dwell on the fear of that, they will connect.
Okay.
Just like that saying, what is it? It was what you resist persists. So if you and think about this, it's like, all right, if I'm thinking about negative stuff, thinking about demons, I hope I don't get no demon. I don't want to get no demon. Damn, don't come to no demons. You
Right.
know? Then I'm focusing, literally connecting, literally opening a conduit to that negative behavior. Do you see?
Okay.
Like when people do the Ouija board, usually they're trying to scare each other. Okay, so it does. Because they connect on that vibration.
I know. I can't believe we used to do that when we were kids.
Yeah.
Now that freaks me out. I want nothing to do with that.
Right. My sister used to do that. She used to talk to a ghost named Gus. And he was a Vietnam vet. He had gotten killed, all that stuff. And she used to get some real answers. And then she told him, she asked one time, would you ever hurt me? And it said, yeah. And I freaked her out, right?
Yeah.
So she throws, this is funny. I was kind of a jerk back then. She throws the thing in the trash, right? Because she won't deal with him. So I took it out of the trash and I put it on her porch.
Oh my gosh.
So when she walked out, it's there. She thought it come out by herself, right?
Oh my gosh.
So she was all upset, you know. So she breaks it, throws it away. I bring it back out. I put it together.
Oh my gosh.
And she's panicking, so she
You
burned
were
it.
really messing with her.
Yeah, she burned it. I didn't pick it up after that. But it was funny because she was so expecting the negative vibration that she created it. Really, not created it. She connected to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your opinion, like, spirits, you know, have some of them just like not crossed over? Are they?
I don't believe that
Are they
at
hanging
all.
around? Like, what's your feeling on all of that?
Well, I think they've already crossed, but I don't see crossing over as a destination. I see it as a vibrational change, dimensional change. So the dimension changes, yes, but their consciousness may very well be focused on certain events. That's where you get the ghost thing. They can connect just like we do.
Okay.
So they connect to that one episode, and you'll see them involved in it.
So when you see, like, I've read an article saying that, like snuffers, there's apparently a woman that was killed there, and everyone that
bar?
works there says.
Is that bar?
I think Lower Greenville maybe, like
club.
the original one.
I mean, like a burger place.
Yeah. A lot of people that work there have said that the woman that was murdered there, it's like they see her ghost a lot there.
Sure.
And so I kind of looked it up, and one article said that sometimes they maybe have unfinished business, or it was so sudden that they're not even aware that they're dead. I mean, what do you feel about that?
Well, I think they know they're dead. They don't call it dead because they're living over there, right? So death is kind of a mislabel.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in death personally. I believe the body goes away, but you still roll. You know, but no, I don't think they're caught. Maybe they visit it from their vibration. They visit it. That's when you see them. Otherwise, you see them all the time, right? They only see them now and then. You never hear about somebody said, man, I got this ghost, some bitch won't leave. No. Well, sometimes I see her. Sometimes I don't.
Okay.
Well, maybe just like us, maybe they're visiting too. Do you see?
Yeah.
Their vibration is focused on it too. You see? To me, it doesn't make sense that anybody's caught. I mean, how stupid could the universe be? I mean, if you think about it, okay, you're going to die. You're probably not having to make a lot of choices right then. Like, here's a funny story. I thought it was anyway. Somebody might think I'm an ass over this, but whatever. One of my clients, I was talking to her, and she used to be a client of Sylvia Browne, which was Montel Williams' favorite reader. Anyway, she goes, now, I have a brother that passed on, and I know he has 3 doors to choose from when he dies. I said, who the hell told you that? She said, Sylvia Browne did. I said, I think Sylvia's full of crap. And I said, think about what you're talking about here. You're talking about you're not talking about a choice here. Death ain't a choice. Timing might be. We don't know that. Death ain't a choice. So you can't be in the mindset to doing a choice. Something that's happening to you. 3 doors? Where would they go? Heaven, hell, Cincinnati? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Just like if you're being born, you're not deciding which mother to jack out of, right? That don't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, I always feel like you need to take the mystical, magical, and bring it down to where you can put some common sense in there.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm right, but in my forever career, I think I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I was at I used to do investigations, a lot of investigations, of course, like I said. I did the real famous place, Baker Hotel.
Okay.
And I was there one day, and I was being used like a bulldog, like a bloodhound, going through these corridors and finding these spirits and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went up in this house in the room that was supposed to be inhabited by a woman that was Mr. Baker, the owner, his mistress. And there was an altar there, the whole works, right? Anyway, we're in there. The radio station's there. I forget the radio station. Anyway, I forget I think it was a ranch or somewhere. I can't remember. Anyway, all these people were there, right? And I was connected to the woman. And when I would connect, I would feel the actual, like a buzz in my whole body, right? I started talking to her, with her, as her. And it was my voice, but her pattern, her speech pattern. And then one of the women was laughing. And involuntarily, I feel my head go, like that, like a scene in Exorcist. And it goes, "You think this is funny?"
Oh, my gosh.
And the woman goes, "Well, yeah, a little." Then you hear her go, it just involuntarily says, "Bitch." As soon as that happened, that window went up.
Oh, wow.
About 2 inches, and the door slammed. And everybody in the room was panicking. This one guy he was in there all cocky, couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
He was going, "Oh shit, oh shit." So we spent probably a good 4 or 5 hours on that trip. And that place is loaded up with spirit, with entity, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anyway, matter of fact, there was a picture, I don't know where it went. There's a picture, I was leaning against the wall doing my thing. And there was an orb right next to my hand that had a guy with a goatee in it. You know, it was actually vivid. You can really see it. Eyes, eyebrows, the whole works.
Wow.
And I don't know where that picture went. But anyway, so it's there. But see, those people, they're not caught. But probably wherever their vibration is, they visit it now and then, you know. I think it's everything, you know, some physicists, or not physicists, but quantum physicists, believe everything's simultaneous. And I think it's probably true, you know. Anyway, so.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about back on the like intuitive stuff? You were talking to me earlier about your son and the fear of heights.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. He's a truck driver, big, strong kid. And he was telling me that he says he has this reoccurring dream of going over a bridge and hanging from a bridge, waiting to fall, kind of thing. I thought, man, where'd that come from, you know? And it really goes along with what we were saying earlier about programming. When he was about maybe a year old, I fell asleep at the wheel, and we had a car wreck. And I literally got thrown out of the car. I had to catch, the car kept going. It was crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, when I got everything stopped and I looked, he was in the back seat. The car seat had flipped over, and he was hanging from it. So I realized, when I put those two together, I realized that's really what it was, is the car wreck kind of programmed his thinking that a car wreck, then hanging, would be the same on a bridge. It would have to be a wreck, then you'd be hanging from the bridge. Do you see?
Yeah.
So it all worked out like that. I guess he's over it. Well, obviously he is. He does over the road trucking. Mm-hmm. So I imagine he had to face that fear.
Yeah. How do you help someone? Because I keep hearing people saying, you know, you have so much like childhood trauma or things that have happened to you that could affect you having chronic pain when you're older or something. How do you kind of heal from those type things?
Well, what you do is you have to have time for your mind to go for a walk. See that? Like like an example would be, um, like I didn't know I had it, but I had a prejudice against old white men, and I didn't know what the hell the problem was. And I was trying to sell on my radio show, trying to go on syndication, and I found out the guy that was going to make the decision was an old white man in his 60s, 70s. I thought, shit, it's not going to work then. And the wife I had at the time, wife number 3, she goes, why isn't it going to work? Well, it's an old white guy. She goes, why would that matter? And I thought, yeah, why would that matter? It was caught in my head. And it's because when I grew up, I couldn't trust those type of guys because they were, they predatory, pedophilia, shit like that,
Yeah.
So it was in my head and I didn't know it. You see?
Yeah.
Just like I think there's a lot of times, you know what? An interesting thing would be when we're dealing with anything psychological, anything intuitive, anything that deals with how the mind works, you have to deal with the baggage, whatever the hell is hung on you. And I lost my train of thought, right? But anyway.
You have to deal with the baggage.
Yeah. You have to deal with the baggage. And it isn't about hardcore thinking. It's about imagining. What is it? Where did I feel this before? Do you see? L. Ron Hubbard, it's crazy if you want to whatever, Scientology, whatever. The essence, the beginning of that was Dianetics. Dianetics is the coolest thing. Scientology, they always seem to have their hand in my pocket, so I never went back. But Dianetics is amazing. The technique that they teach, and I learned to do it myself, was fascinating.
What is Dianetics?
They call it modern. They were calling it then modern science of mental health, but it was written in 58.
Okay.
And it's bestseller for years and years and years. And what it does is kind of like hypnosis, but you're actually going into the thing on your own. Do you say? So they do things like they have trigger words, just different things. Like they'll find out you're saying certain things, so they use a certain word and say it over and over.
Yeah. Until
you break through.
Okay.
Do you see?
Yeah.
And what happens is, I'll give you an example. I had a wife at the time, wife number 2. She, the kid's mother, right? We were young, in our 20s, early 20s, and I'd gotten into this, and we went to this. They call it missions, and I wanted to learn to do the auditing, and she had been raped by her father, so she was dealing with that. So I'm there, and they hand me this like tomato juice can. And he says, okay, show me how the mind works. And they have reactive, active mind, reactive mind, and they have what they call a file clerk, which is your mind's ability to retrieve memory. But the problem is you can retrieve memory, but it's the interpretation that screws you up. And they liken it to having a 7 stuck down on a calculator. 1 and 1 is 9. Did you see that?
What?
They call it one, like if you have baggage, like this programming. If you have the 7 stuck down on a calculator, 1 plus 1 is 9. Do you see? It's the same with the mind. If you have this deep set thought that something, deep set thought of something like the old men being jerks for me, it's going to color your perception from now on until you get it out of there.
Yeah.
You see that? Well, when I started, and I was really a knuckle dragger still. I was bad news still. But I was trying to find my way. And this guy says, okay, show me how the mind works. And he hands me this can full of all this bullshit, like Legos and nuts and bolts and crap like that, And I look at it, I said, what? How the hell am I supposed to do that? I couldn't get around that this stuff could be whatever I want it to be. Do you see?
Yeah.
So I'd spend just sitting there, God damn, I don't know. I was just panicking, just having a fit. And I called the guy up and said, look, give me something else to use. This is bullshit. You guys are nuts. And he says, and I was trying to start a fight.
Yeah.
All he did was look at me and go, well, let me know when you're ready. And I walked away, and I'm like, he was supposed to fight with me. So I understood how to fight. Mm-hmm. You see?
Yeah.
Anyway, he's gone, and I'm, oh my, what this stupid shit? I'm just going all through, just having a fit. And then I said, look, dude, come here. Give me something else. I mean, this is bullshit. I was mad as hell. He said, well, you know, you're going to have to do it, so let me know when you're ready. Walked away. Shit. Finally, I did it. I figured out how to do it. I had to dislodge my belief that this Lego was a Lego. It had to become something else.
Yeah.
Okay? And so I managed to do it. It took me more than an hour. When I was done, my shirt was full of sweat. I had been shaking. Mm-hmm. So I literally went through this episode all behind something so freaking simple. Well, the next move was they hand me, of all things, and when I was a kid, I was raised by a pretty big knuckle dragger. I mean, he was pretty, if he was to see me with a doll when I was a kid, he'd have beat me bloody.
Yeah.
And of all things, they hand me a damn doll, baby doll, right? Okay, I'm supposed to talk to the doll. Says, okay, close your eyes. To the doll.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. Stuff like this. Uh-huh. And I would go, close your eyes. And it's like, damn it. Okay, close your eyes. Deep breath. I'd keep doing that because I couldn't get it. Couldn't talk. Couldn't say 4 freaking lines. And I was raising all this hell, and the people were looking at me smiling. Nobody was getting upset for me.
Yeah.
Do you see that? For me. I needed them to be upset. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't do it. So finally, I got it done. And when I left that room, I could barely walk. I was literally holding on to the walls. And I was passing this guy in the hall. His name was Force, of all things. That shows you what kind of fella he was. And he goes, I heard you did it. And I said, yeah. I said, they gave me a damn baby doll, you know. He says, yeah, they gave me a teddy bear, and I cleared that teddy bear. And then it dawned on me, that baby doll didn't mean anything. It was plastic and material.
Right.
Why was I attaching this significance to it? Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. And then I realized that a lot of times what is being said isn't what really is going on. Yeah. It's a perception that has really no basis for truth. Mm-hmm. You see? Yeah. The person ain't lying.
Yeah.
Their interpretation is skewed because of some past programming. Like the lady I talked about before with wasn't woman enough. Mm-hmm. Okay? Well, what the hell does that mean? She didn't know.
Yeah.
You see? Then when I helped her realize that wasn't the case, her life got back on track. She was fine again. Yeah. So it really is fascinating.
It is very fascinating.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with hippie dippy stuff. It isn't the hippie dippy stuff you hear about. It isn't what people like to say woo woo stuff. It's not really like that. The essence of the intuitive ability is not a spiritual thing. It's a human thing, or actually a living thing. Maybe I think animals do it too, but it's a living thing. You can connect to spirit that way. But it doesn't go that way. It's not like that. It's not like you need the spirit to tell you.
Yeah.
But you need the intuition to connect to the spirit to get whatever is being seen from there. Mm-hmm. Makes sense?
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's crazy. But it's so simple that, it's so simple that people don't want to believe it. Or they want to, but they can't because it's too goddamn simple.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah. And I feel like some people kind of block out their childhood. I feel like some people remember all sorts of things from their childhood, even when they were babies. And then some people don't remember much of their childhood. Do you feel like they're maybe blocking something out?
Absolutely. A lot of, I talk to people all the time that they just flat don't remember from maybe 5 to 7 years old. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean all that was dark or bad, but there was enough that it kind of shut them off. Mm-hmm. But that's in there still.
Yeah.
And they're still accessing that memory. They just don't know it consciously. And that's what that 7 being stuck down means. Mm-hmm. Do you see that?
So they need to do like an exercise like what you did.
Right.
Maybe to kind of pull it out.
Yeah. Well, the last exercise when I did that Dianetic thing, I had to what they call audit the wife I had, and so I went into it and I said, okay, I forget how I started it, but she was supposed to see what had happened to her, describe what's happened to her, but she couldn't see it. She knew when she thought about it, she knew it happened, but she couldn't see it, couldn't visualize it. So I took her back to about 11 years old, and she remembers being hit by a bike, hit by a car on her bicycle. She still couldn't see it though. She could hear it in her mind. She could hear it.
Yeah.
She could smell the grass, but she couldn't see what happened. Brought her back further. She was 3 years old now. She falls out of a van. She sees the van's light come on. Now she's able to see something. She sees the van's light. She sees her father getting out of the van, walking towards her, picking her up and says, I don't see anything wrong. And this got stuck in her head. Now she couldn't visualize anything wrong. And the problem we were dealing with was she was being raped by her father repeatedly till she almost bled to death. Repeatedly, he raped her. But because she couldn't see anything wrong, when she remembered, she wasn't able to remember the scene. So it made her feel guilty because he got caught.
Yeah.
He never did see the inside of a jail, though. But they found out about it. His family did because she almost bled to death, like I said. But she couldn't absolutely see it. So it had guilt. And that guilt made her almost manic about trying to get him to approve of her. And that colored her. Matter of fact, it probably took her to her death. She wound up being an addict, and she wound up dying at 49 years old.
It's really sad.
Because she got past that, but it had so much nonsense had piled on that.
Yeah, so much trauma.
Because one thing leads to another, to another, to another. And there's so much of it was on her that she couldn't get out from under it. And by 49, she was gone.
Ugh.
It's pretty crazy, you know. And she was a good heart, big heart. She didn't want to ever hurt anybody. Matter of fact, I told her she'd come from a whole other planet when I met her because she acted like everything was, all the world was love, you know.
Aww.
But as she got older, things would key in, as they say in Dianetics, things would key in, like different aspects. Maybe a boyfriend might have pushed her or hurt her or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so more and more stuff got on top of that baggage, and it cost her sanity, really.
Yeah.
So, anyway, 49 years old. The picture I have, I wish I had it to where I could put it up. It would be kind of raw to do that, but the picture I have, she looks at least 80, and she's 49. So.
Really?
The drugs. By the time she died, she had cancer, narcolepsy, just a multitude of shit. You know?
Just the
liver issues, kidney issues, heart issues. Yeah,
the trauma just
it ate her life.
Yeah.
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 So when people talk about like an addict, or I don't see addicts like that. I see them as sick or with an ailment. I don't see them as a weak person that can't take care of themselves. I see it like that.
They're trying to kind of mask the pain.
And the answer is, as I tell a lot of them when I deal with addicts here and there, you got to face it. If you find fear, you got to face that. You got to walk through it one way or another. Whatever happens, happens. The other thing to remember is never have guilt, and never look down on yourself for the past. Because, like myself, I've done a lot of off-color stuff. I don't feel bad about that. I'm not proud of it.
Right. Forgive yourself, forgive others.
Yeah. Well, it's like I'm not proud of it, but I'm proud of where I've come from.
Yeah, you learn from your mistakes.
I overcame that.
Yeah.
That's the way it all should be. If you make a mistake, you come out of it, you worked it out one way or another. That should be a badge of honor. Yeah, I had that problem, but I'm still standing. As opposed to I had that problem, now I'm worthless.
Yeah, like some of the best things come out of the worst
Absolutely.
things.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
did a post on Facebook like that. It's like the best memories I've ever had was when the universe had me by the throat.
Yeah.
Because that's when you really see who you are, you know?
Yeah.
when you get to where nothing else can help you, like no distractions, you can't get yourself distracted enough to not have to deal with it. You have to deal with it head on. Come out strong.
I agree.
Power.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It's deep.
Deep, baby. Absolutely. Well, this went really quick.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, okay. Well, this is an interesting thing. It's like I said, intuitively, I didn't think this guest was going to actually make the connection. I'm sure there was a good reason, but I don't know what it is at the moment. But I didn't think it was going to happen. But I just didn't listen to it. Bigger than shit didn't happen. So there we go. Anyway, now we have to end this little trip. We'll be changing our times to Saturday. I'll be putting out what time and that. Of course, you can access this also on YouTube. It's called US, of course. You probably saw the logo. Anyway, when you go there, watch the videos if you want. There's a few there, and there'll be more every day or all the time. But don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to push the damn where you like it or you don't. You can put it. You can put that you don't if you want, whatever. But
likes are better.
Do that shit. Yeah, likes are better. Absolutely. Anyway, this is Brittany.
Hello.
I didn't introduce her, but you probably knew who she was. I'm Robert Crusoe. I think I'm on wherever that stuff is. But anyway, I'm an intuitive. You can get a hold of me for readings and such at 469-546-8017 or go to my website, robertcarusoonline.com.